Retail networks generate millions of data points every hour. Inventory moves, prices shift, and customer demand spikes in real time. To manage this volume, enterprises rely on a foundational technology layer, systems of record. These databases capture the absolute transactional truth of the operation. As this architecture table shows, systems like your ERP, point of sale, and warehouse management system live here. They answer a single historical question: what happened? Above that sits the second layer, systems of insight. These tools extract mathematical patterns from the transactional data below. This is where your BI dashboards and predictive demand forecasts operate. They analyze historical truth to answer what is happening right now and what is likely to happen next. But there is a structural ceiling to this two-layer model. Analytical systems only display probabilities. They do not execute physical actions. Despite millions invested in data infrastructure, the standard enterprise technology stack observes the business without actually operating it. Running a retail network requires executing thousands of decisions every day. Prices must be updated, inventory replenished, and store labor scheduled, all under strict capital constraints. Currently, humans are the manual bridge between digital insight and physical execution. Massive streams of analytical data are forced through a narrow, analog bottleneck. Operators review the dashboards, extract data into spreadsheets, debate it in weekly meetings, and manually key updates back into the ERP. This manual execution creates persistent value leakage. When human operators are forced to make localized, reactive decisions, they inadvertently sacrifice network-wide margin and efficiency. The data updates in microseconds. The human planning and execution cycle takes days. Closing that gap requires building a third layer above the current stack. The system of decision, a layer engineered entirely to answer what should happen next. Until this decision layer is built, investments in predictive AI and data lakes will yield diminishing returns because their outputs remain trapped behind human processing limits. The Opti Retail Suite populates this new decision layer with autonomous optimization models, or AOMs. The industry often assumes that better AI forecasting translates to better operations. This capability comparison illustrates the gap between a forecast and an action. Business intelligence is display only. It makes no decisions. Predictive AI provides a forecast. It tells you demand will rise, but does not calculate the optimal inventory action to meet it. Generative AI produces content, and agentic AI executes basic workflows. Neither is equipped with the constrained optimization core required to solve operational mathematical objectives. An AOM is a self-contained quantitative decision engine. It calculates the absolute best next action to take to maximize a declared objective. Operational limits, like physical shelf space, economic margins, and regulatory safety bounds, are embedded natively into the optimization, not run as an afterthought. AOMs do not generate ideas or probabilistic guesses. They execute rigorous mathematical optimization to find the single most profitable path forward. Enterprise operators rightfully distrust black box algorithms. To ensure auditability, every AOM is built on this standardized 6-component architecture. The engine starts with the run component, which constantly ingests the live operational state from your existing systems of record and insight. That data is fed into the decision core, the solver that processes variables against constraints and returns a recommended action. The model must prove its math. The explanation component provides a rationale, while KPI impact quantifies the expected effect on revenue. Finally, the model is governed by alert and override protocols, which flag anomalies to human operators and allow for manual policy control. The override function gives administrators the power to manually adjust constraints, freeze specific decisions, or mandate policy changes at any time. This 6-part architecture transforms an AI algorithm into a compliant, enterprise-grade asset. This architecture only delivers value if it connects smoothly to the rest of the enterprise stack through a continuous, closed loop. In steps 1 and 2, the AOM reads live transaction balances and demand forecasts directly from the underlying layers. In steps 3 and 4, the decision layer takes over, solving the optimization problem and generating a decision, paired with its explanation and projected impact. In step 5, the AOM pushes that decision back downward. It triggers an executable action, like issuing a purchase order or updating a shelf price, directly into the transactional system. Step 6 completes the cycle. The real-world outcomes of that physical action feed back into the databases and dashboards, continually calibrating the next run. Opti Retail does not require replacing your ERP or your data lake. It sits on top of them, orchestrating their outputs to amplify the value of every IT investment you have already made. A single AOM eliminates one bottleneck, but true operational leverage happens when decisions are optimized across the entire enterprise. The full Opti Retail Suite deploys a catalog of 22 specific models. As outlined here, they are organized into 4 architectural layers that map directly to the retail decision hierarchy. The commercial layer optimizes merchandising and revenue growth, driving decisions for assortment and promotions. Simultaneously, the inventory flow layer manages the movement of goods, calculating replenishment timing and executing network transfers to prevent stockouts. At the top, the executive layer governs network-wide financial performance, including working capital and broad pricing rules. Down at the physical site, the store execution layer dynamically aligns labor staffing with live store traffic. These 22 models do not operate in silos. They are engineered for coordination, sharing priority signals and guardrails constantly. Because the system is aware of cross-departmental constraints, an aggressive promotion generated by marketing won't inadvertently crash the supply chain. Local optimizations no longer cannibalize global value. The value compounds because of this interconnected network. Every operational domain gets a dedicated, mathematically rigorous decision governor. When you run an autonomous decision layer at scale, the impact shows up immediately on the balance sheet. This table details typical outcomes. Pricing discipline increases top-line revenue and gross margin. Optimized replenishment reduces working capital while improving inventory turns. And traffic-aligned scheduling drives higher labor productivity. The most lasting impact is organizational. With AOMs executing calculations, meetings shift from reporting past data to validating future decisions. Static plans are abandoned for continuous operations adapting to real-time constraints. Operators stop reacting to fires, stepping back to govern the system's parameters. Modern retail operators now act as decision governors, setting the business objectives and policy limits that guide the optimization engines. By bridging the gap between data and action, Opti Retail treats every operational decision as a scalable, high-margin enterprise asset.